Hi, everybody. Welcome to Donor Relations Guru Live Happy Hour. It's so good to see you. I hope you are all doing well and everything is going well for you. Hi, everybody. Welcome on board. Happy to have you. Happy to have you join us here this Wednesday at 3:01. So, welcome. Hope all is well with you. I would love to know your favorite fall tradition, whether it's Canadian Thanksgiving or dressing up for Halloween or pumpkin spice lattes. What is your favorite fall tradition? Would love to hear from you as we are going to hang out today and talk about fundraising for the next hour. But first, let's get into it's now fall officially. It's October, best month of the year, in my opinion. I'm very biased, but what is your favorite fall tradition, or what's something you look forward to every fall? Is it crunching the leaves? Is it seeing the color change? What is that? College football, yes, that's a big one for me as well. Lauren loves eating pumpkin ice cream. Leaf crunching in the woods for Jackie. Ashley is baking some apple pies. I could use an apple pie right now and some ice cream. Oh my gosh, you already have snow on the ground. That makes me like, Andrea likes pumpkin patches and corn mazes. Elaine is all in pumpkin spice and candles. Sweater weather. I don't even have a sweater down here. That's what cracks me up. So Karen loves the cute trick-or-treaters. My mom used to make my costumes, and I have some amazing memories of those costumes. I even won a costume contest once. So flannels. Oh my gosh, Jackie. My parents change over regular sheets to flannel sheets. And that is always a time when I know fall is coming. They live in the North Georgia mountains, and I always know that fall is coming when they change over their sheets to flannel sheets. So you might have been talking about clothing, flannel clothing, but yeah, they love their flannel sheets. Growing up, it used to make the snuggliest bed. My mom makes a great bed. So if you can't sleep in my mom's, and they're tight, oh, good stuff. Oh, Karen, welcome from AASP. I hope that conference is going great. I love my friends at AASP and hope to be back there in person next year, hopefully. So I'm just asking everybody what their favorite fall tradition is. My dad, even now that he's gotten older, a couple years ago, he asked me, it's always hard to buy for them for the holidays and stuff. And so he asked me for fleece lined jeans because when you get older, you get cold easily. And so now he has these jeans that are lined with like sweatshirt material, and he just loves them. So they keep him warm. And then my parents, they have fireplaces in their cabin. They live in a log cabin, and they hang their socks over the grate in front of the fireplace, and that keeps their socks warm. And so when their feet get cold, they change out to their warm fire heated socks in front of the fireplace. It's really cute. Thank goodness neither of their feet smell horribly, because otherwise the whole cabin would smell like fire heated socks. But yeah, sweatshirts and football and flannel sheets. We don't get much fall here on the island. I know we're getting some rain lately, so it's gloomy outside because it rained for 20 minutes today. So what's going on in your fall fundraising life? What's going on? What are you talking about? We are a buzz at Donor Relations Guru because of the Pulse of Donor Relations survey is out there already. Over 500 people have taken it. The answers are mounting up, and so I'm sure Ashley's going to post a link to that. Fall, it has us working on that every 2 years. We do a pulse and we survey everybody in donor relations and fundraising and find out what they're doing. Our business meeting is at the end of the month. There are a lot of Giving Tuesday webinars. I love what ThankView is doing for Giving Tuesday, Grateful Wednesday. our business meetings at the end of the month, and we have some pretty big stuff coming up for 2022 that we're very excited about, including thinking of going to a subscription model for our clients so they can subscribe and get a whole bundle of services and webinars and online learning. Also, if you participate in the Pulse survey, I forgot to mention, you could win $250 in online purchases, whatever you want to buy from our store. So we incentivize at Donor Relations Guru. We love to bribe, so we're happy to do it. What's going on in your fundraising world? What do we want to talk about today? Kind of what's new with you? Oh, I got a new office chair. Yep, I have a new office chair because my Pilates instructor said my shoulders were really tight, and I said, well, and he said, what do you sit in all day? And it was like a $10 chair I bought from a Ritz-Carlton like backyard sale here on Island. So I bought myself a proper expensive office chair. So now I'm sitting upright, and like I didn't put on my makeup today. Sorry guys, you didn't get it today. I've been in back to back Zooms since very early this morning. So Melanie, thanks. Excuse me. Thanks for taking the survey. Oh, the DE&I series that we're doing is just giving me life. I'm really enjoying it, and I know many people are as well. So you had an in-person homecoming. It went fairly well, but your numbers are down. And just launched public phase of a 5-year campaign. So congratulations. That's a lot. Becca, thoughts on Mythos? Mythos is really cool software. It helps you gather your stories. I mean, it replaces kind of like your Google Forms or your Survey Monkey or things like that, but it doesn't actually deliver the reports. So you'd still need, Becca, a report delivery mechanism, email, Otter, print, things like that. But Mythos can help you gather your stories, and they're very good people. So I like those folks. They're very kind. So check it out, But remember, you said their demo looks super impressive. So here's the thing about demos. As a person who has now created a software and been a consumer for a long time, if their demo doesn't look good, then run. I mean, demos to me are like first dates. Everybody's wearing their nice clothing. Everybody's on their best behavior. And if you've got a problem during the demo, then there's no hope for you. So just remember that demos are like first dates or first job interviews. So keep that in mind, right? So just giving you some realistic love there. But I like Mythos, but it's expensive, and you got to know what you're going to use it for. So remember, a lot of us bring on software and we don't use all of the software. So let's just make sure we've maxed out everything we have first before we bring on something new. So great question. Jackie, question, what do you know about gift giving to donors as nice thinking of you gesture? Do we have to send a tax letter? We don't give donors items. You meaning like I would buy something for a donor, like in mass, or tchotchke, like what would I buy? So we try not to buy donors things, especially not things with our logo on them. Now, if I'm going to get something for a donor, it's going to be completely bespoke and custom to them. It's not going to be something I can buy out of a catalog. And remember, there is quid pro quo. And so if you give a donor a gift, you have to itemize that, the fair market value, not what you paid for it, but the fair market value. So if I buy a donor a calendar, but I got it on sale, I still have to take out the fair market value of IRS. That's covered in document 526. It used to be page 17, but it's around quid pro quo. So donors don't want you to buy them things. They really don't. So the best thing you can do is deliver impact, not items to them. So maybe something little, but I've seen delivery of presents for donors go very wrong. I once worked at an organization and they decided to get donors poinsettias at Christmas time or holiday time. And a donor's dog ate the poinsettia because they had left it with the housekeeper and she left it on the ground she didn't know, instead of putting it up away from the dog, and the dog ate it and got very, very, very sick. So be careful what you give donors. Good times, good times. Holly, hi Holly. Here at Berkeley Law, I'm looking for a creative and fun way to thank and celebrate donors just as soon as they complete a pledge. Not major gifts, just nice recurring pledges, and hopefully leave them primed to set up a new one. So we want to celebrate a promise once it's fulfilled, right? So maybe this is, Holly, tell me if I'm going down the right path here. You have a donor who said, I'll give you $1,000 a year for 5 years, and in the 5th year they pay it off. Is that what you're thinking? Give me some more information there, because hopefully you've talked to them way before year 5, because kind of once their giving expires, have you set them up on recurring giving, or what are you doing to prime that pump? Right? Excuse me, I'm not yawning because you guys are boring me. Sometimes my body has trouble catching up with oxygen for some reason, and I end up yawning all over the place. So I'm a weird human sometimes. I don't know if it happens to you guys, but so the idea is you'd be talking to them before year 5, and ideally I would want to get them set up in their last year. So if I'm giving $1,000 a year, I would really want to, in my last year, say, hey, can we make this easier on you? Can we set you up for $100 a month or $83 a month or whatever monthly amount they're comfortable with, and then not set an expiration date on that so that their pledge just finishes up. I think the proper way to thank somebody for ending their pledge is to tell them what their money did for those past 5 years too. So, and at Berkeley Law, like, did it go into student funding for awards? Did it go into a teacher stipend fund? Kind of what did the money do? So that's the best gift you can give them. That's the best appreciation, is that you spent it according to donor intent. Bailey, hi Bailey. What are your thoughts on best ways to steward recurring donors? So I've got thoughts about recurring donors and how we can steward them and how we want to think about our relationship with them. And a lot of recurring donors want to hear from the organization, but we don't need to hear from them every 5 seconds, right? Like, I think we over communicate with our recurring donors a lot of the time. So the first and best thing you can do with your recurring donors is make sure that they're not going to appear on a solicitation list at another time in the year. There's nothing more frustrating than giving a monthly or recurring gift and getting hit over the head with a solicitation as if you don't know that I'm already giving a recurring gift. So the number one donor relations related thing you can do is to make sure that they're pulled from your solicitation cycles, right? So the second thing you can do is an update. And this is where, oh gosh, now I can't remember her name, and Ashley will help me remember her name. Val, she was the marketing chief at Charity Water. She was married. Val Charity. She teaches she has an online course about how she created the spring or the pipeline at Charity Water. Marketing. Oh gosh. Ashley, I'm having a heck of a day brain-wise here. The guy that founded Charity Water is Scott Harrison, and her name is Vicki Harrison, and now my brain is coming back. And she has a whole course on recurring donors. Vicki Harrison course recurring. I'm Googling while I'm talking to you. She is fantastic, and her course was really cool, and it was all about how to get recurring donors. But she said, you need to give them a name. And I thought that was really cool because it gives them an identity. And so, like, how do you think about that? And, what does that look like? So I do think there should be special touches that only your recurring donors receive. So whether that's a platform um, that they get access to, whether that's a thank you that they leave, it's totally up to you. And so I'm trying to find this at the same. There it is. Ashley found it. Mission Critical. Thanks, Ashley. I'm just losing everything I've got left today. It's been a long, tough day. So she's got a whole course on recurring donors. And you're right, Heather, when you're a recurring donor and your nonprofit doesn't notice that you're a recurring donor, it can be very, very frustrating to you. So, yeah, totally agree. And so I really want you to think about, what are those touches? Could it be, and so I encourage you, Bailey, to join some recurring giving programs that do a really good job. So the ones that are fantastic to me is Charity Water Spring, Make-A-Wish does Wish Makers, Team Rubicon has their support squad. Cornell has a recurring giving program, but go out there and find, World Wildlife Fund has one, and look at their programming and find something unique that you can translate to your donors as well. I have a little bit of nerd knowledge to pop into the chat for you. Every 2 years, Bank of America, the Lilly School of Philanthropy do an entire study on high net worth donors in America. And I have just populated the link for the high net worth donors. And so I really want you to read this study. It's amazing. It talks all about why donors give, why donors don't give, what motivates high net worth families. And it talks about COVID fundraising as well. This is one of those kind of reports that I pour through. I know it's 123 pages, but you don't have to be as much of a fundraising nerd as I am. You could read the overview and look at the charts, but it's super helpful to know about your high net worth households. And it's a very, very astute and well done survey. So I highly recommend it. Oh, I'm not out of water. Darn it. It's one of those days, folks. So what else is going on in your fundraising world? What kind of questions do you have on your plate? What's going on with you, those of you that are out there? Yeah, how can I help? What's going on in your world? What's going on? Okay, Katuri, what are your favorite post-event follow-ups with major donors? So, great question. Hey, girl, hey, I watched your AI presentation the other day as well. I think that my favorite are the most personal. When you can take something that you had them, you knew they said that evening, something you remembered from them, something personal, an anecdote you have from the event, and you can circle back with them either in a lovely note. I think the best follow-up from an event is a thank you. As you know, that's one of my big fan girl moments is when you get a thank you from someone. But I think the follow-up should be polite yet persistent. So within 3 to 4 days, right, there should be a survey going out to them. After 3 to 4 days, you might want to get a handwritten note out there to them. Um, uh, and then after that, it's personal follow-up, right? It's personal follow-up. Yeah. So those are the kinds of things. You may also want to think about one of my other favorite things after I meet people in person is, you get into some amazing conversations with folks, right? And maybe you've had a conversation about entrepreneurship or connecting someone with an indigenous population expert. I love, after meeting people in person, doing the connecting. I think one of my talent spots in the industry is connecting people, or my famous phrase, I've got a guy, right? Like, I've got a person. So after meeting with people, either at events or on a chat, I love being able to do the connecting work. So for example, Katuri, let me introduce you to John. John is an expert here. I would love for you two fabulous people to have a conversation. That's really great major gift follow-up for anybody. So I love that idea. So that's a really good follow-up step as well. But always, always, always surveying both attendees and non-attendees of events. Lauren, you are working to clean up the data and it's tough. What data are you cleaning up, Lauren? What data are you looking at? And is it the right data and is it bringing you the right ROI? So yeah, it looks like we've got Judy, the Bank of America report there on LinkedIn. Thank you, Nikki. Very, very helpful, because apparently I only post to Facebook and YouTube. Weird. So yeah. So what data are you cleaning up, Lauren? What would you like to know about and what can we help? Certainly everyone should be looking at their greeting and salutation data these days, making sure that you're removing your titles and keeping things non-gender polarizing, making sure that your greetings and salutations aren't Mr. and Mrs. Michael Smith, right? That they are modern and that you're not slapping title labels on people, whether or gendering them with or without their permission. So yeah, so just some easy data cleanup that you can do. So Lauren, what's the data you're cleaning up? I would like to not send emails to constituents who are not opening them or who haven't engaged in years. So let me ask you why. Lauren, I would be careful before I removed people from emails. So I think that we have to be careful before we remove people from our lists, our email lists especially, because just because I didn't open the email doesn't mean it didn't pop up on my phone and I didn't get a preview of it. And in the new, I have downloaded new iOS 15, and in the new iOS 15, there's a setting on my mail that actually has it to where you can't see whether or not I've opened and interacted with the email. So I have now hid, I know you guys are loving that, but the person actually has the choice as to whether or not they allow you to see the metrics from their open rates. So I don't think you should get people off your list. I think you should be smarter about, or maybe I should use a different word, more strategic about the segmentation on your threads. Sorry if I insulted you if I said smarter, but I want you to think about how you can be a better segmentation. And also, I'm not going to interact with an email that's not personalized to me. So Lauren, if that email doesn't say Lynn, comma, or Lynn, we'd love to hear from you, I'm not going to engage. So if it's not personalized, if it's not directed at me, then I'm not going to engage with it. So yeah. So some of you are asking about metrics. So the best metric of donor relations and fundraising, as many of you know, is first-time donor retention and then overall donor retention, right? After that, you go into pledge payment rate, you go into pledge fulfillment rate, those kinds of things. So those are very important for you to think about. And so that would be really good for you, is to think about just what you want from your metrics and what you're trying to prove with them. So tips for stewardship metrics: to establish a baseline to find out if deliverables for major gift donors are helping to improve giving. The other big metric that I use, Christina, is surveys with those deliverables. So if we're delivering impact reports or endowment reports, then we're going to deliver a survey to our donors with that, to make sure that they're satisfied and to make sure that we're delivering them the information that they want to see. So Christina, I'm constantly thinking about metrics within my deliverables, but also overarching metrics. So yeah, I can do that. So yeah, individual piece metrics as well as overarching metrics. I've been writing some blogs yesterday and this week, and talking about sustainable fundraising and which gifts do we want to have versus which gifts we don't. Julie, hey Julie, good to see you. I may have missed what you said about open rates. Given the way technology works, then what would be a percentage of open rate is considered successful? I think it's going to go on the decline because more people. So we know that the number one source for open rates is mobile devices, right? On your good old phone here. And we know that now I can choose not to show my open things. I want to find where it is on my phone in the new iOS, but in the new Apple system, I can say, well, I don't want you to know that I've opened the email. And so that's really, really interesting. Okay. So here it is. It's called Mail Privacy Protection, MAIL, not MALE. We're not protecting the privacy of mails. And it says, emails you receive may include hidden pixels that allow the email sender to learn information about you. As soon as you open an email, information about your mail activity can be collected by the sender without transparency and an ability to control what is shared. Email senders can learn when and how many times you open their email, whether you forwarded it, my IP address, and other data that can be used to build a profile. If you choose to turn on mail privacy protection, it helps protect your privacy by preventing email senders, including Apple, from learning information about your mail activity. When you receive an email in the mail app, rather than downloading remote content when you open an email, it downloads remote content in the background. So you can enable mail privacy protection in the mail app or in settings mail. So Carly, you're talking about notifications. I'm talking about privacy. So a little bit different there. So this says protect mail activity, and I can turn that on so that you can't see my open and click through rates. So Julie, knowing that, and the moment you set up the new iOS on your phone, it asks you that. So it asks you that right away. And so I think it's going to be unavoidable that our email rates go down. Now, currently, good open rates are in the 20% range. If you can get 20% of your list to open it, that's good. I think click-through rates, Ashley, isn't that good if it's in the 3 to 5% range or 1 to 3? I can't remember. Yeah. So, yeah. So, but I think it's going to be dramatically affected because we know that over 80% of email is opened on your devices as well. So, which is why it's really important. And one of the things we're thinking about content wise for 2022 is courses on email open. It is going to pose a huge challenge, Julie. You're absolutely right, because the only way you're going to know if your emails are successful is whether or not donors are converting to making a gift off of them, which is in the 1% range, right? Conversion rate is 1%, which is why you'll want to personalize and tokenize those emails. Now, tokenize not in the DE&I sense, folks. Deep breath here, right? You want to send me an email that has individual information for me in it. So for example, Lynn, your last gift was this. You gave to this. Here's a giving site that takes me right to renew my gift with ask strings. So that kind of individual line, kind of customization is going to be really important for us in the future. Again, it's requiring us to be better, to work harder, to send better emails, and less generic crap going into people's inbox. Not that you, Julie, and the folks at Cornell send crap, but there's a lot of crap out there. I've been on an unroll, unsubscribe spree lately because just lazy emailing going on out there that I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out at all. So yeah, so totally. Yeah, really good. So yeah, good question. Really great questions. I love this discussion. So what other questions might you have? So Judy says, I just started a new role in medical fundraising at a hospital in Sydney. Wonderful. Are there any organizations or individuals I should be following? I'd be looking at Association of Healthcare Philanthropy. They're fantastic. They have great education there. There's there's a lot of academically related medical centers that have great programs there in Australia. Funnily enough, one of my favorite organizations to follow is in New Zealand, and it's called FINS. The Fundraising Institute of New Zealand. I love them. I've spoken at their conference. I miss New Zealand and Australia. I miss you guys. You're worth the flight, every minute of it. And I miss Down Under, but I miss you guys. I don't miss the Vegemite. I once made a crucial Vegemite error, Judy. No one had told me about the Vegemite to butter ratio that was proper. And I put way too much Vegemite and no butter. And so I didn't realize it was a 90% butter to 10% Vegemite ratio. And so I had a run in with the Vegemite. So yes. Okay, Lori. Hi, Lori. I am looking for a company that would provide anything and everything related to unveiling a donor portrait. So you're looking for some really nice cloth, maybe some stanchions, maybe some ideas around creative gifting for that donor. So my folks that I use for anything kind of random and hard to do is I contact Michelle, who owns Callard and Company. They're a woman-owned small business out of Ohio, of all places. And I met them, gosh, I want to say, I'm getting older, 15, 20 years ago at a conference, and they are just the nicest ladies, and they fulfill on everything and anything, and they do the most random. Maybe Ashley will link you to their website, Callard and Company. Michelle Geatley is the owner. You'll probably get one of her helpful people, but if you need to name drop, tell them I sent you. They're just super helpful, and right now, we're having huge supply chain issues, getting all kinds of random things. So yeah, I recommend going to Michelle and telling her what you want to do and seeing what she can make happen in her team. They're great for all promotional products, both individual and large scale. And I'm just a really big fan of what they can make happen at their company. And they're very honest about the supply chain and supply chain issues. That being said, for all of you that are going to be sending out holiday cards, direct mail pieces, especially for those of you in the United States, anything going into the postal mail in the United States, the delays are already starting. We have been told, my direct mail companies have been told, that postal mail is going to be expensive and slow in America this fall and holiday season. So if you are planning on doing large mailings, whether they be holiday cards, whether they be solicitations, you need to already be on them. You need to think about first class postage, not bulk rate. There's just so many problems with the Postal Service that you really need to be aware of that and ready for this. So it's raising prices. It's getting slower and more expensive. And like, I'm not just making this up. Like, this is an actual fact. It's been reported. I'm going to try to find one of the reports here. I know the LA Times did a whole story about it. But here is an article. So if you don't already have your holiday greetings ordered, you could always go digital. But there's at least one of the articles about the snail mail blues, they're calling it. So yeah, delivery time for first class mail, which affects 30% of its volume, is getting slower. So, and you can thank Amazon and other companies and all of us who are ordering at home for all of that. So if you have something and you need to get there urgently, go FedEx and UPS and guarantee, your timing, because the Postal Service is going to struggle with first class mail. So all that to be said, be prepared, be very prepared, and get your stuff ready before the end of the year. What else? What else can I help you with? What else do you want to know if I'm hearing out there? What else is going on in the wonderful world of fundraising and all that good stuff? So yeah, how can I help you? How can I help you? Carly, what is my perspective on how to send a gratitude card around Thanksgiving, taking it into account that not everyone views it as a positive holiday or event to commemorate? How do you do this sensitively? Great question, Carly. I think regardless of the origins of the holiday, there are a lot of people who appreciate that Thanksgiving gives us time to slow down and be grateful. So I would focus on the gratitude part of Thanksgiving, and being thankful for donors, being thankful for volunteers, being thankful for those types of folks. I think the other thing you could do is you could think about a holiday season rather than just um, Thanksgiving. And so I think you can think about that. Um, it's hard because holidays are not just, you know, Canadian Thanksgiving is on Monday, but U.S. Thanksgiving is, of course, November and late November. And also, the holidays are very hard because either you can get together with your family or you can't get together with your family. And sometimes it's a double-edged sword when you do get together with your family. So also know that the holidays are just a tough time. So that might be careful. So I love the idea, Julie. There you go. Season of giving, season of gratitude. You know, in this season we give thanks. Yeah, I really like that spin on your messaging there. So really, really nice. So Christina says, with the upcoming Giving Tuesday, Giving Thanks Wednesday, and National Philanthropy, any ideas for making them different messages? Christina, to me, it can't be the same old rigmarole, right? It can't be the same messages we've been sending out the past 2 years. We're approaching, let's see, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. We're 12, and we're 19 months into a pandemic, a worldwide pandemic. It may not seem like it some days, but I think that we need to treasure those gifts and those donors that have given to us in the last 2 years. Focus on, we're running a campaign at one of my favorite organizations called Comfort and Joy. And I'm just really excited to see the results of Comfort and Joy. And so I just think we have to all take a deep breath and know that everybody's sensitive about everything. And so, Carly, you can do your best, but you can't prevent people from being fiery or objecting to, I feel like the climate is such right now. And one of the reasons I'm kind of happy to be away from the States right now is everything is polarizing. Everything is an issue. Everything is kind of fiery, and it doesn't always have to be that way. And I can't live a moment without someone taking offense to something, whether it's valid or not. And so just have some grace and have some peace in your heart. And so just know that you're doing the right thing, the best thing that you can do. And, you really want to, kind of give that grace to other people. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about, right? Be considerate first, be mindful. And then for the people who are going to be highly critical, give them the grace and bless and release them. I've had a lot of people lately who are very meow and just not, I don't know if it's them or me or whatever, but they tend to be very crispy lately. And yeah. So Katuri, my biggest surprise lately, I took a photo of it because I actually couldn't believe it was posted. I've been spending a lot of time on LinkedIn lately, and a professional frontline fundraiser posted this on his LinkedIn, and I don't know how to feel about it, but I'm saving this because I feel like there's a blog in here about this. There's a conversation in here about this. So it's a post, and it says, "Fundraising story time. Yesterday, a big donor called our offices, furious that he had received an annual fund solicitation for his department, a letter he was supposed to get because he's an alum and donor of that department. He was angry that he wasn't treated with special attention. So instead of just recycling the letter, or even better, throwing a few bucks into the annual fund, he called and sent 6 full-time staff members into a day of apologizing to him. for a letter he was supposed to get because he never told us not to mail him. So my wish is this: please stop apologizing to donors like this, because otherwise the behavior continues and we lose out on valuable time caring for students, building our pipeline, focusing on diversity initiatives, and so much more. And if you're a big donor that gave because you care about students and programs, then please don't waste our valuable time. I completely disagree with this. I can't believe that a professional fundraiser posted this on their LinkedIn with the university stated right where it was. There is a conversation about power there, definitely, Lauren, but there's also a conversation that angry donor just wanted to feel special. And he probably was angry about something completely different. And this was the light that's, this match that struck the fire or something. But I think if you sincerely apologize, if you listen to a donor and let it go, but sometimes donors get mad about irrational things. They don't understand our business. They don't understand our industry. But I just don't like the disregard this person treated the donor with, and the way they talked about a donor. And so I think we have to be appreciative, and we have to understand that we never know where someone's coming from in a certain day or time. And so I certainly don't want my friends to talk about it. I mean, we get very casual. And maybe the donor was trying to help us. Sometimes when I complain, it's because I want the organization to understand where I'm coming from, right? It's not always because I want them to apologize. Yeah, I was really surprised that someone aired that publicly on of all places, their LinkedIn. So same could be said for the poster. So there's two sides, right, to every story, and I understand that there's actually three, right, or more. But I also think that we need to treat people with respect. The donor should have treated the fundraiser with respect. The fundraiser should have treated the donor with respect. And I think we've got to soften our conversation. So Katuri, when you asked me what my latest surprise is, I had to take a photo of it because I was like, did this just happen? Like, did this just happen? So yeah, it was just kind of appalling, surprising to me. I think there are better ways to handle that conversation than that. So takes all kinds. Any happy surprises? Oh, there's always happy surprises. My happiest surprise was last week, and it caused me to have some anxiety, but also excitement. How many people showed up and how many people continue to show up for our conversations on diversity, equity, and inclusion, our tough conversations. And last week was a really tough one about the student and donor dynamic and how difficult that was. And I have to tell you, that D&I conversation has spurred so many small group conversations, changes at organizations. I work as an acting director of donor relations and stewardship at a university right now. And one of my team members said, in light of your conversation last week, let's change the way we talk. Let's start talking about that. So I'm really inspired by people having some, tough realities around, the student donor dynamic, the power dynamic, the way we talk about it. So for those of you who work in education, think about this. We use terms like, the donor wants to meet their student, or they want to get a letter from my student. Since when is it okay to own, like that idea of ownership, right? That idea is just really interesting. So how do we combat that? How do we think about that? So that's been a positive surprise lately. Okay. Christina with let's see. Any tips on virtual donor appreciation events? I would say appreciation's got to be sincere. Smaller is better sometimes. Entertaining is great. So making sure that the content can compete with the couch and the Netflix, and that it's entertaining and meaningful. Um, Making sure that people feel they have individual attention, so it's not just a big group of people, and so that you feel like you can stand out of the crowd there. So yeah, just some tips there. Let's see. I started a new role, which is a mix of donor relations and annual giving. Where's the best place from my point of view to learn how to do a first appeal and top tips? I love the teachings from Bloomerang, and I'm sure that Ashley will post a link to Bloomerang. They have tons of free content on how to ask for donations. So I love Bloomerang's content. Network for Good, We Are for Good. So annual giving. I'm trying to get you annual giving. Yeah, so those are just some of it. Bloomerang is my favorite in terms of free content. They put out great content with great experts. I'll blog every day. We do have some resources. We don't have a ton on asking. We have much more, thanks Melanie, on thanking. And we try to keep those resources fresh. Bob Burdinsky does a solicitation swap every year, like my acknowledgement swap and others. That's really, really nice. And he does digital, print. It's a really great resource. So if you can connect yourself there. Fund List is another one. Great one, Heather. I would say look for people who have experience in the field. Look for people who are using the latest and greatest strategies. There you go, Julie. Yeah, AGDC. But people who want to question or challenge the norm, not just do the same thing. And anybody in annual giving who's teaching retention-based or sustaining-based fundraising is where you want to be. If they're just teaching how to get more money, and they're not talking about retention, that's not somebody I really want you to follow. You want sustainable fundraising over time. So, and if anyone has other kind of resources, think about that. I also love anything that Andy Goodman puts out. It may not be directly annual giving asking, but the way he tells stories for nonprofits, things like that. He's wonderful. Andy Goodman. He wrote the TV show The Nanny and the Dinosaurs. And now he teaches people storytelling for nonprofits and everything through the Goodman Center. He's fantastic. He also has written my favorite free book in the world, Why Bad Presentations Happen to Good Causes, which is a free download that you can download from him that teaches you how to use PowerPoint properly. But if Andy Goodman is doing a training near you, it is fantastic. And then for general marketing content, the one I always look to is Seth Godin, Godin. May not be annual giving, but I love Seth Godin's content. Love it, love it, love it. So, So just some things off the top of my head. So yes to Andy and yes to Seth. Yeah, they're both very brilliant. So love them both. So we're winding our hour up today, and we're going to end the same way we started with what are some of your favorite fall traditions, whether it's going and seeing the leaves change color to pumpkin everything for you pumpkins heads, whether it's, school supplies. I love fall school supplies. Whether it's bundling up in a sweater or putting flannel sheets on your bed like my mom does, or making apple pie or pumpkin pie or pie, spice cake and all that good things. Whether you actually like candy corn or not, you can be yourself and like it if you want. I'm not going to hold that against you. But all this to say that fall also reminds me of a time of change. And change is the constant that floats around us, right? And so I hope and think that you all should embrace that change, both in yourself, at your organization, whatever you'd like your change to be. You really want to think about that um, at your organization. Cornbread dressing is certainly a reason to do it. And once every fall, you guys are going to laugh at me for this, and I will probably even do it on island. I go get myself a good old fashioned box of stovetop stuffing and chow down. It's awful and salt bomb and delicious and all things all at once. And sometimes you just got to have it. So I don't know. Canadian Thanksgiving is Monday. They celebrate it here on island, and a lot of places are having huge Thanksgiving type meals. And I think I might eat a Thanksgiving meal and then lay poolside in the sun all day. I'm taking Monday off. I need some time. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for joining us. If you need anything, you can always email us at info@donorrelationsguru.com. So we will talk to you soon. Thank you all so much for being a part of our family. And I will talk to you soon.